Hello, happy Monday and welcome to Simon's Trading Channel. Hope you're all well and you've had a cracking weekend. Let's get straight on with the price action analysis. I'll start with the good news, which obviously is a very suggestive sentence. Anyway, the good news is really on the higher time frames. And I say it's good news, it's more kind of neutral. If you just track the bull run so far. So clearly the current macro low, which is around $15,000, was the end of 2022. And then since then, Bitcoin's been in an upside move with some impulsive moves and some consolidation periods, some impulsive moves, some consolidation periods. And that's a very typical way that price action moves, not just for Bitcoin, but in markets in general. Now, what is good about this news on the weekly time frame is if you just look ever since really the breakout from the beginning of January 2023, obviously we're in January now, there's an impulsive move up, which was effectively made. So this whole move to here was one impulsive move, a consolidation period that lasted 6 weeks, then just 1 week of upside price action, followed by a 6 month consolidation period. And the next sort of element, if you like, the next section or structure of price action was an impulsive move to the upside, followed by 8 weeks sideways, followed by another impulsive move up. That happened over many more weeks than this one, followed by a 6 month period of consolidation, a bit more actually, and another impulsive move to the upside. And then since then, we've had 7. This will be the 8th week of, let me just double check that 8. Yeah, this will be the 8th week of consolidation following the last impulsive move up. So similar to this, and you can also see with regards to the Bollinger Band, right? This period of consolidation here and this period of consolidation here basically brought price action very close to the midpoint of the Bollinger Band. There was a wick down to touch it. Here, there was a wick down that got quite close. And then, this is what's happened so far in this consolidation. The midpoint of the Bollinger Band will change each week and currently is at 80,000. It's a fair way away from where price action is at the moment, but there's there are 6 days left of this week to go. So who knows what's going to happen over the next week? Not I, not no one else, not anyone else even. But the longer the Bitcoin goes sideways, the more the midpoint of the Bollinger Band will come up to meet it. And therefore, as long as the price stays above the midpoint of the Bollinger Band, when volatility does indeed expand on the weekly time frame, because it's been contracting since here, it's been contracting for the last 6 weeks, then as long as price is above the midpoint, that volatility expansion will likely be a move to the upside. So that's, I would say, the good news, which means, the rest of the video is not particularly bad news. I referred to this on Friday, really. This is the daily time frame. And despite today's price action, there hasn't been a closure to cause volatility expansion on this Bollinger Band on the daily time frame. So you can see really since here, which was the end of November, the volatility had been cooling off. Well, it waxed and waned until about here. Then it started to cool off properly, which was the last week in November. And the Bollinger Bands haven't really expanded in a meaningful way. So volatility hasn't taken off in a meaningful way right up until today's price action. And that will remain to be the case for as long as Bitcoin's closing dailies above 90,000, which with 4 hours to go at 92 is likely, I would say. It's not for sure, but this is just sideways price action consolidation, even though everyone's going on and on about the end of the bull run. That's not reflected in the price action. It just isn't. And anyone who says different is either looking at different Bitcoin to me or should maybe revise their technical analysis. So for now, this is a continuation of daily low volatility price action consolidation for Bitcoin. That's all it is. However, much like I said on the weekly, because the price is living above the Bollinger Band midpoint, on the daily, the price is living below it. And therefore, if volatility was to expand, it's more likely that expansion will be with a price movement to the downside. So I really want to see Bitcoin close the daily back above 95.5, 96. That's just because I've got more of a bullish bias. We all have our biases, of course, in trading and investing. Probably, if you're an investor, you have always got a more bullish bias, whereas trading, obviously, you can make money out of downside price action. But for me, until I see a weekly downtrend, which I can't see a weekly downtrend, as hard as I look, I'm not going to be shorting this market. But that's just my opinion. None of that is financial advice. You can do exactly what you want. And if you're on the lower time frames, then, shorting and longing is completely viable in a range bound market, which is what Bitcoin's in. Now, the momentum is to the downside on the daily and will remain red on my MACD here, as long as Bitcoin's below that 95,000 mark, which, no surprise, is where the midpoint of the Bollinger Band is. So 95, 96 on the daily makes things look much more rosy for Bitcoin. Up until then, all right, there's a slight downside bias, but it's all just a low volatility game at the moment. The 4 hours is probably where the more negative news is, because you can see, I mean, it's still kind of consolidatory, but you can see that there's following this higher high here. So this whole section of price action has been very annoying in a way, because as I'm a trend trader, right? I think most people are. Trend is your friend at the end of the day. If you were to look at this section of price action, you have a high, a lower high, butting up against support, more likely to break to the downside. And then what does Bitcoin do? Oh, it goes, nah, you're all wrong. And it gets back above this high, which makes you think, oh, okay, well, that downtrend on the lower time frames, on the 4 hour time frame, has been negated, and maybe we're now going to pull back, put in a higher low compared to here, and set it in an uptrend. And no, it doesn't, does it? It goes all the way back down to the support resistance level, and it's basically been hanging around there ever since. However, low volatility weekend narrow Bollinger Bands, the last couple of closures, although it looks like this 4 hour closure may not continue volatility expansion to the downside, but the last couple of 4 hours have created some volatility expansion to the downside, but not in a sort of impulsive price action move. And so with this wick, which did come down to, let's see exactly, came down to about 89, but the closures were at 90, call it 91. So there hasn't been a 4 hour closure below 90. So clearly 90,000 is a support resistance level, certainly was over here on the 4 hour. It was resistance over here on the 4 hour and daily. And it looks like it's holding for a while. How long it holds, I don't know. No idea. No one can tell you that because we can't predict the future. However, momentum on the 4 hour is to the downside. There will be a chance for some bullish divergence on this MACD. If you compare this low to if this becomes a low, which you could argue it is, although I'd like to see price action probably get back above 94 to solidify this as an option. So 4 hour closure back above 94, I think would confirm this is a low. This is already obviously a low, and that would be regular bullish divergence. Might not then play out, but what that does suggest is that momentum is building on the 4 hour. Even though it's still to the downside, the pressure of downside momentum to the downside is waning. It's going to continue to fall, however, or the MACD is, as long as closing 4 hours below 92,800. So about $500 from where price action is. So I'd like to see, personally, Bitcoin get back above the 20 SMA, which is at 94,000 on a 4 hour. I think it's likely if that occurs, there'll be a try for, or it'll just be more consolidation rather than downside. But to be honest, the definitive move for me would be a daily closure back above 96,000, and that really would confirm that it's just more consolidation, maybe for the rest of this week, maybe towards the end of January, and then set Bitcoin up for hopefully another impulsive move into February. Oh, that was a bit longer than I expected. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the price action. If you have, please like and subscribe and join me for my next video. We'll see what's going on with the mighty Bitcoin. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.